Hey guys, it's me, Johnny Crumbs 2000 here, and holy crap, I'm doing a brand new Let's Play today. Today I'm going to be starting off my Let's Play of Dynamite Cop for the Sega Dreamcast. Look at that. Sega Dreamcast is on it in all its glory. I haven't done a Dreamcast game in a while, so it's going to be good times, good times. So for those of you who don't know, Dynamite Cop was a game that was released originally in the arcades and then it was ported to the Dreamcast. It was released in 1999, and essentially it's a spiritual successor, a spiritual sequel of Die Hard Arcade, which was released for the arcade and for the Sega Saturn. It's essentially the same game, just updated really. So for this playthrough, I'm going to be joined by my friend Megan. You may remember her from, she helped me out with, or she was one of my friends who helped me out during my Let's Play of Captain Commando when I did the 4-player game. I think so far that has been the only game that she's appeared in, but she's going to be joining us today. This is a 3-player game. It's kind of strange, 3 players. Usually it's either 2 or 4, but this is a 3-player game. Unfortunately, I couldn't get one of my other friends to come and help us out, but that's alright. We'll handle this. So anyway, you're looking at the startup screen. We're actually not started yet. And here we go. This is the startup screen for Dynamite Cop. We have a couple of things, and a couple of things that you can unlock. One of the things that you can unlock is actually a game, which, if I remember correctly, you can unlock tranquilizer gun. I'm over here looking at my notes. If you are able to beat all of the missions. Now the way that this game is structured, as we'll soon see here, just looking at the controls here, I think I actually remember when I was showing this, I was actually showing my friend Megan how to play. It's her first time playing this game. It's not a difficult game, but by any means, it's still fun. Fun times. You guys can see there the bonus game is tranquilizer gun, which is an old school Sega arcade game. But you're gonna have to beat all 3 of the missions. So there we go. That's me on the left, and that's my friend Megan playing as the girl, obviously. Now here, as you guys can see here, we're gonna choose one of the 3 missions. I am gonna be doing all 3 of them, but just know from the start, I will say that pretty much all of the missions are almost exactly the same. They really only change aesthetically. So the way that this game is structured, obviously, it's a beat 'em up. It's kind of strange because it's a 3D beat 'em up. It's pretty fun. This is sort of like how a beat 'em up would be, like an old school beat 'em up, had it translated to 3D. Now, as you guys can see here, we were in this area, and all of a sudden we beat everybody up, and now we were shown this little cutscene. That's pretty much how you go from point A to point B. You go from area to area, you beat everybody up in that area, and then you get shown this little cutscene that shows how you transition from one area to the next. And that's essentially what's going to be happening for the rest of this game. So here we went from the deck of the boat there, and now we made our way onto the inside of the boat to this dance hall. I don't know what they're doing there. Nice little arcade game over there on the right, I think. And this turtle man that just popped out of nowhere. Now, for those of you who've never played either Die Hard Arcade or Dynamite Cop, the way that this game works is that you have your standard jump button, you have your before I mention it, you do have these kind of quick time events here, and you have to obviously you have to press the right button in order to succeed in the quick time event. Now, there are, some of them are easy, some of them are hard, but it really just depends. I think the way that it's set up in multiplayer is that the first person that presses the button prompt is the one that triggers whether, is the one that gets the input in first. And, whether you do it right, you get a success screen prompt, and if you get it wrong, obviously you get a not succeed prompt. I can't remember what happens when you fail it, but I think what happens is that you take a little bit of damage. It's not that much, but when you're running low on health, that can become a problem. So anyway, as I was saying before, you have pretty much this. It's just standard beat 'em up. You know, if you have been playing beat 'em ups since the 2D days, this is pretty much the closest that it'll get to turning 3D. The only difference is that they have 3D models, and instead of going right all the time, you progress by from going from cutscene to cutscene. And here we're fighting two fat pieces of crap. Now the other thing about this is as you guys probably already noticed, is that there are a lot of items to use in this game, and it is freaking amazing.
Hurry up with that bomb! And where is that girl? Find her and bring her to me.
And that was the boss, the big bad guy of this game. Now, admittedly, I don't know that much behind the story. It's really like mid, early 90s, late 80s cliche action movie plot going on here. We're essentially trying to save the president's daughter from this guy named Wolf Hongo, who was the guy that we just saw there, and he's basically like a pirate. I mean, we're on a boat, he's hijacked the boat, and that's pretty much what he is. He's just a pirate. And we're just trying to get the president's daughter back, so that's what we're doing here. That's the reason why we're randomly beating people up. Other than that, I mean, really you don't really need a big story when it comes to, beat 'em up games like this. They kind of just speak for themselves. Just beat everybody up, save the day, and that'll do it. Now, as I was saying before, there are a crap ton of items. Almost a lot of the items that you find in these sections you can pretty much pick up and use to your advantage. And that's one of the great things, is that you can really play this game differently every time. Not just because you can choose the missions, but because you can use all these different items. Like right here, you got the mannequin head or whatever. I knocked it down, and now I can use it as a weapon. And I don't know why I paused there. I think I was in the midst of action here. And obviously, like some other beat 'em up games, not all of them, but you do have your weapons here, your actual like guns, and sometimes you'll get grenades, sometimes you get salt shakers, which can pretty much do the exact same thing. They'll stun the enemy every once in a while. And if you press the trigger buttons, you'll do this sort of that's what I'm doing there right now on the left. I'm doing sort of like my super move, and the way that you do that, I believe, is that you have your P gauge over there at the top. Or am I just crazy? It's been a while, guys. I recorded this a long time ago. It's been a while since I've actually played this game. If you guys have been following me... Oh, we failed. Crap. Actually, I think the way that the failure thing works is that if you fail, you have to fight the enemy. I can't remember if you lose health or you just have to fight these enemies that you would otherwise just kick the crap out of. Good God, chair. But as I was mentioning, it's been a while. If you guys have followed me on Twitter and you know what's been going on with me lately, I have a new computer that I'm doing all this stuff on, editing videos and things like that. My old computer conked out, so fortunately I was able to save this footage. So this footage is footage that I recorded with my last computer. The reason I haven't been able to, the reason I haven't come out with new Let's Plays as of late was because I've been trying to figure out the way my editing programs work. So thankfully just today actually I ordered a new HD PVR from eBay, so it should be coming in the mail at some point, and I can go ahead and start recording new Let's Play for you guys. But anyway, back to the action. Now, as you guys can see here, if you notice, our clothes Our clothes are falling off. Holy crap! So that's one of the other things about this game that's sort of cool. It's kind of weird, but it's a nice little attention to detail, I guess. Is that the more damage that you take, the more clothes fall. The less clothed, I guess, you will become. So right now, I'm pretty much just down to my shorts. I don't even have shoes anymore. And obviously, if you can, if you regain health or you die and come back, you get all your clothes back. So right now, I'm fully clothed again. So it's a nice way to kind of, visually to kind of tell where you're at health-wise. Because, admittedly, when you're, beating everybody up, you're in these large rooms, especially when you're playing in multiplayer. It can get a little busy, and you tend to not focus on your health meter. as much. So it's a little, it's a nice little feature that kind of lets you know visually how good you are as far as health is concerned. So now we're in the kitchen here, and holy crap, we're fighting this French guy. You can tell he's French because the French flag is on the floor, and because the music is actually playing the French national anthem. Oh wait, is it the French national anthem? I can't remember. That's the French national anthem, right? But a nice little attention to detail here. As I mentioned before, you're able to switch between 3 different missions. Each mission, essentially, from my experiences with playing this game, mind you, I don't play this game all that often, so I'm not as knowledgeable about this game as I am, say, Project Justice or Power Stone 2, 2 games that I've done Let's Plays for in the past. But the various different missions, besides just playing a little slightly differently, I mean, aesthetically they're just a little differently. The other thing is that the way I see it, they're just kind of like you're just choosing a different difficulty level. So mission 1, which is the one we're playing with now, would be easy mode. Mission 2 is medium, and then mission 3 is hard mode. And a nice little attention to detail here is that each mission, for example, this guy right now, he's French, but later on he'll be, if I remember correctly, he'll be Japanese. And then in the other one, I can't remember what he is, but he's different every time. So it's the same level, it's the same person, the same boss here. He's just slightly different. So it's a nice little attention to detail. I like it. It doesn't make a difference gameplay-wise, but, it's just, it's the little things that count, you know what I mean? But we beat him up because he's fat and we're quicker, and now we're going into this vent thing. More cutscenes.
Haven't you found her yet? Never mind. It's time.
You gotta love how the lips don't even match the the voices. It's almost like a kung fu movie. And somehow we ended up down here. I don't know how large this ship is, but it's pretty freaking large. So anyway, with these guns here, you do have ammunition, as you guys can tell at the bottom portion of your screen there. That pretty much tells you how much ammo you have. There are some really cool weapons in this game. I mean, they don't make. I mean, there is an advantage, obviously, to using, long-range weapons, but there isn't a particular one that's, overpowered, and that's pretty awesome in my book, because with a game like this, it would be pretty easy to just, choose the gun over like a baseball bat or something. But there is actually advantages and disadvantages to each one. So for example, here I'm using a gun, but as you guys can tell here, I get locked every time I use it, so I can't move after I press the the attack button, and that gives another the enemy some time to kind of go around me and hit me. Whereas if I was using a baseball bat, for example, I could just keep spamming the hit button. And holy crap, crabmen! I have no idea. Some of these enemies in this game are just weird. Why do these guys have crabs on their back? Giant crabs, mind you. I mean, this area looks kind of cool. Everything's frozen and things like that, but I do not understand this at all. This is like one of those WTF moments of this game. These giant rolling crabs. When they roll, they kind of remind me of Blanca, by the way. And now we're going to go on the conveyor belt. Anytime now. Here we go.
Let's go.
Help me.
Alright, so now we're moving on to the next area, guys. But we have a cutscene here, and we are going to fail. Yeah, not so good. Alright guys, that'll be it for the end of part 1. I will see you guys in part 2. See you later. As always, if you like this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you want to get more stuff from me. In the meantime, if you like my videos, be sure to find me on Twitter, Tumblr, Raptr, and Screwattack.com to see the other gaming related content that I upload. Info is in the description. Who knows? Maybe you'll like my stuff. Maybe. Maybe.